Welcome back, everybody. I want to do a couple matches. Well, sorry about that. A couple DVDs that I own. Matches that really pretty much define that event. It's going to be non-WWE DVDs. So, yeah. We have 5 ROH DVDs and 1 TNA DVD. I don't have that many outside of WWE DVDs and all that, but still, the ones that I have are pretty good. The first two I would like to show is basically the only. I do think this is the only 2 events they ever did a barbed wire match. In 2006 and 2003, they did War of the Wire 1 and 2. The first one was Steve Corino versus Homicide, and the second one was B.G. Whitmer versus Necro Butcher. So it's really different because you don't see a lot of matches like this in ROH. You see a lot of ladder matches, a lot of matches without honor, matches and all that. But probably one title that I'm so shocked they got rid of years ago was the Pure title. It was so amazing, but I do hope that Sinclair Broadcasting actually grows the company to a certain point. It's never gonna compete against Vince. Vince is way too big. When you have about $2 billion that corporations are gonna fucking give you, you're way too big. But yeah, ROH is like the only company that can really pretty much has not a stronghold, but it's probably like the second wrestling company in North America. So if ever New Japan decides to establish itself in North America, they do shows here and there, but they're pretty much a Japanese company. So I do hope one day they do come over. I do have on my computer New Japan World, so I can watch a whole bunch of shows. A couple of the matches we have in this ROH World Title match and the original War of the Wire, 2003, I think, not too long before Samoa Joe came into ROH. He's really defining is the era of Joe and everything. Joe's a legend in ROH. Nobody's ever beaten his record of being champion for 600 and some days, I think. To this day, nobody's ever beaten. ROH tag team titles, Jay and Mark Briscoe, the Briscoe brothers, still in ROH. Basically, I think like the only 2 originals that really stay in that company, versus probably one of the most underrated wrestlers to ever lace his boots, Christopher Daniels and Dan Maff. Xavier versus John Walters, the Outcast Killers versus Slick Wagner Brown and April Hunter. Gauntlet match, CM Punk versus Jimmy Rave versus Colt Cabana versus Matt Striker versus B.J. Whitmer. 10-man tag team match, Special K versus Carnage Crew versus the SAT and Slugger. A lot of these wrestlers I never really heard of, but yeah. The Backseat Boys versus Fast Eddie and Hot Stuff Hernandez. So the next one, you got the barbed wire match, B.J. Whitmer and Necro Butcher. Jay and Martin Risco versus Roderick Strong and Jack Evans. Roderick Strong is pretty much in NXT right now, one of the tag team champions. So, amazing wrestler, by the way. Four-corner survival match. D. Bryan versus Homicide, Notorious 619, versus Austin Aries, AA, versus Delirious, the actual booker right now in ROH. Christopher Daniels versus Matt Sydal, and the title I just talked about in the beginning, ROH Pure title, one of the announcers of NXT, Nigel McGuinness versus Cole Cabana. Jimmy Rave and Sal Renaro versus Davey Richards and Jarrell Clark. And Jimmy Jacobs versus Trick Davis. So, pretty good event. The early days of ROH. So, yeah. The next one, it's 2 matches. The same two. This was, a month after. Okay. This is Death Before Dishonor, 5, Night 1. I do have Night 2 around here somewhere, but yeah. You have a Boston Street Fight, Briscoe Brothers versus Kevin Steen and El Generico, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. ROH World Title match, which is pretty much a name that you're going to see again in my list because of an event and all that. ROH World Title match, Takeshi Morishima versus Claudio Castagnoli, pretty much Cesaro. D. Bryan versus Matt Sydal. Austin Aries and Eric Stevens versus Roderick Strong and Rocky Romero. 6-man Mayhem, Delirious versus Brent Albright versus Matt Cross versus Pele Primo versus Eddie Edwards versus versus Jigsaw. Pure wrestling title. Chris Hero. Pretty much for a lot of you guys that don't know who Chris Hero is, which I have a blank in my memory right now. He does wrestle for WWE, but it's oh no. I'm having a brain fart. But anyways, I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys know him. Versus Nigel McGuinness. Shimmer title, number 1 contender match. Lacey versus Daisy Hayes and Davey Richards versus Jack Evans. So, Cassius Ohno. Yeah, Cassius Ohno. And the month after, D had a ladder match, which is Man Up. An event straight from Chicago. You have the Briscoe Brothers versus Kevin Steen and Al Generico. Really brutal ladder match. That's pretty much why I purchased this. I do think I have it on VHS somewheres. But yeah, I think I taped it or something like that. ROH World Title match. Takeshi Morishima versus D. Bryan. Roderick Strong versus Eric Stevens. Davey Richards versus Austin Aries. Rocky Romero versus Matt Cross. And a 4-corner survival match. Chris Hero versus Naomichi Marufuji versus Nigel McGuinness and Claudio Castagnoli. Bonus matches, you have Matt Sydal versus Delirious. Tyler Black versus, which is Seth Rollins, versus Jack Evans. B.G. Whitmer and Brent Albright versus Chasen Rance and Kenny King. Amazing Kong. Pretty much she did a gimmick called Amazing Kong in TNA, and she was I can't remember what her name was in WWE. I don't remember, but pretty much she got pregnant and lost her child or something like that. She quit the business. She didn't quit the business, but she quit WWE. A lot of things happened, but yeah. I haven't I we try to make a video and we try to think of something. It's I know I can think of it. Top of the class trophy match: Mitch Franklin versus Alex Payne, and plus Jimmy Jacobs, Irish Airborne, Adam Pearce, and Necro Butcher. So, damn. Not charisma, but crap, I can't remember her name. But yeah, anyways, the next one is probably one of my favorite cage matches in ROH. It's based off of CZW's Cage of Death. You have Team ROH of Samoa Joe, BJ Whitmer, Adam Pearce, Ace Steel, and a mystery partner versus Team CZW, Chris Hero, Necro Butcher, Claudio Castagnoli, Nate Webb, and a mystery partner. ROH World Title, Deep Ryan versus Sanjay Dutt. ROH Pure Title match, you have Nigel McGuinness versus Roderick Strong. Pretty sure, not pretty sure, but a lot of talent you see in this, a lot of them went to WWE, a lot of them quit WWE, and a lot of them came back to the WWE. So Cassius Ohno is one example. So okay, yeah, Davey Richards versus AJ Styles, Jay and Mark Briscoes versus the Irish Airborne, Colt Cabana and Jay Lethal versus Jimmy Rave and Sal Renaro, Set Delay versus Delirious, and ROH Commissioner Jim Cornette and JJ Dillon. So, yeah, pretty much why this feud with CZW was so awesome. It was brutal. It just really started, and it brought Claudio from CZW. I think he went from CZW to ROH. A couple of wrestlers from CZW, I think, did go to and transit to ROH and other companies and all that before they went to WWE and craft their legacy and everything. So yeah, it's pretty. This is why I like collecting a lot of this stuff. Is you see a lot of what certain wrestlers look like and how they wrestled before they went to WWE, and they had to really tone down their craft. A lot of them were really brutal. A lot of them wrestled in Japan. There were some of the most brutal guys ever. They had to tone down pretty much a lot of their style. But pretty much ROH versus CZW, it's the owner, and that those days was, I can't remember what his name was, but pretty much Jim Cornette was back in those days, and ROH and everything just created a feud with the ex-owner of CZW, which I can't remember his name right now. But yeah, it's just, if you love wrestling, if you love hardcore stuff, I highly recommend that you actually go see any of the matches of the ROH feuds and all that. Anything that has to be that has been done, CZW versus ROH was so brilliant. So yeah, I could be here for hours just really talking about that feud. I really didn't watch that much ROH back in those days, but I started to go online, go on eBay, and start buying a lot of old ROH DVDs. So a lot of them are out of print, really rare. But the next one, the last ROH, and then we're going to go into TNA, is Joe versus Kabashi, and the legendary match of the year candidate. Well, not match of the year candidate. It was the match of the year, so which was pretty awesome. Really a brutal match. No hardcore shit, just pure adrenaline fuel wrestling. A must see for anybody out there that's never seen Kenta Kobashi versus Mojo from October 1st, 2005, I mean. I highly recommend it. Homicide versus Jack Evans, James Gibson. Pretty much, James Gibson is Noble. So, yeah. Versus Jimmy Yang. Ricky Rave versus Pel Primo. Roderick Strong versus Jimmy Rave. ROH Pure title match. Nigel McGuinness versus the now second ROH champion for the second time, Jay Lethal. ROH tag team title match. BG Whitmer and Jimmy Jacobs versus Tony Mamaluke and Sal Renaro. Three-way elimination match. Christopher Daniels versus Azrael versus Matt Sydal, and Colt Cabana versus Claudio Castagnoli. So, yeah. A must-see, at least a must-see match for anybody that has never seen anything from ROH. If you've never seen anything from ROH, probably the Punk Joe feud. Anything that has to do with either the Fallen Angel, Christopher Daniels, or D. Bryan, the American Dragon, or a lot of these guys. It's everything back in the early days of ROH is a must-see. So, not everything was amazing, but still. And probably one of my all-time favorite, no, not my all-time favorite, but in my top 5 favorite tag teams of all time. America's Most Wanted. Wildcat, Chris Harris, and Cowboy James Storm. It was so amazing back in the day. Early days of TNA. And putting these two guys together, I don't know who the hell put these two guys together, but I just have to clap for the person that did that, because, oh my God, when you say somebody can click and have some of the most amazing matches in TNA, when I mean amazing matches, I mean like 3.5, 4-star matches. It's really that good. And TNA now is pretty much what is a shadow of its former self, like 10 some years ago. To me, honestly, the day that TNA died was the day that Eric Bischoff and Hogan put their slimy hands on the product. To me, honestly, that's the day that that company died. It was still dying, but they were trying to do something with that. But yeah. Again, in TNA, anything with Christopher Daniels, AJ Styles, Austin Aries, any of these guys is a must-see in those days. Before the megastars came in, like Christian and Jeff Hardy and Sting and Mick Foley, and a lot of these guys came in. Man, the early days of TNA, there was a lot of crap to really you have to go through and everything, but a lot of brilliant stuff. Just like WCW, there was a lot of brilliant stuff, but you had to really dig inside, really take a shovel and dig to see the morsel, the amazing morsel that they actually created. So, to me, honestly, the one thing that could save TNA is, well, it's not TNA anymore. It's Impact Wrestling. The one thing is to complete. Well, it is complete, but I probably go back to their roots of what they used to be, and bring back the X Division, what it used to be. To me, honestly, one of my favorite matches from TNA has to be the original concept of the X Division match. Not what they did later on, but the original concept. Not when they put the fucking steel cage on there. The original concept of the Ultimate X match. Around 2005, 2006, something like that. It was really fun watching it. It was a lot dangerous, but it was fun. It was really fun. You had two X's, like ropes and everything. Like, for a lot of you guys that don't know, pretty much hanging on top was the X Division title match. And not a whole lot of people remember this, but the X Division had no weight limit back in those days. Now, I don't know what... how they... I don't remember how they used to say it. It's about no... it's not about weight. It's about no... Something like that. I can't remember. But yeah, it's pretty much... It's a C. It's a must-see. But yeah, some bonus stuff, which I need to really watch at some point. I've owned these DVDs for so many years. The original two J-Cup events, the 1994? Yeah, 1994 J-Cup, the legendary J-Cup match. Man, just listen to this. First match, Dean Malenko versus Gedo. Shinjiro Otani versus Super Delphin. Black Tiger versus Taka Michinoku. El Samurai versus Motegi. Negro Casas versus Ricky Fuji. Jushin Thunder Liger, but he was just called Jushin Liger versus Ayabashi. Gedo versus Super Delphin. Black Tiger versus Chris Benoit. El Samurai versus Sasuke. Justin Liger versus Ricky Fuji. Chris Benoit versus Gedo. Justin Liger versus Great Suzuki. And Chris Benoit versus Great Suzuki. So, yeah. 1995 one, you had Chris Jericho in this, Chris Benoit still. Oh, okay. Oh, cool. Okay. And you also have Rey Mysterio versus Psychosis. Oh my fucking god. That must be an amazing match. And how... It's many discs. Like 3 discs, so... Yeah. But yeah, these I've owned for many years, and I've never watched them. One I want to get is considered by many as one of the greatest female wrestling event ever. It's Dream Slam. Dream Slam 1. I would like to get a copy of that. If anybody out there actually watches my videos, I would like to get all the events of Dream Slam back in 1993, 94, probably earlier. I would like to get that because I would like to see certainly a one YouTuber that I remember watching years ago, but I do think it's still online, but he's not as active as he used to be. His name was I can't remember, but yeah, he just pretty much did a list of some of the greatest events, and that event right there, and not a whole lot of people talk about that event. So, anyways, yeah, it's pretty much what I have to say about wrestling and such. So it's less WWE and more outside WWE and everything. Just really something different I could do for a lot of you guys. Hope a lot of you guys out there enjoyed it. If you did, please do leave a message in the bottom. Just really, again, what you would what you would like me to do more of wrestling or more movies or talk about random stuff or topics or whatsoever. It's going to be so awesome in the near future. My vacation is coming up about a month from now. So yeah, 2 weeks. So about 16 days. Those 16 days, there's probably going to be a lot of videos going to be put on YouTube. But anyways, everybody, good day.